Make sure everyone else email me whatever you guys have, and let's see if we can get this together. So yesterday or last week was 4 different queries to read, create, update, and destroy data in the database. So let me go to my connections, making sure my connections are good. So my MAMP is running. My username and password is root and root. If I go to SQL Pro, actually no, not SQL Pro, but phpMyAdmin. So I go to localhost 8888, then I go phpMyAdmin. Was it dynamic web? No, monster. It was monster, right? That we had for last week? Yeah, monster. And I have some information in there. Okay, so that's the database that I'm using, right? You guys are going to be using whatever database that you guys name it. Do you guys all have this connections PHP?
Yep.
All right. We went over ORM functions. Do you guys go over that as well? You guys understand that? 100%? Definitely not? Okay, so ORM is object relational modeling. Essentially, it allows me to, well, this isn't really ORM stuff. This is actually mostly just convenience functions. So these are just ways of me making the query without directly putting in the query. So I put the query inside the function runs a whole bunch of other stuff. Instead of me having to type this over and over and over. That's one purpose of using a function, right? You wrap a bunch of code in a block called a function, and you're able to execute that multiple times without having to write it over and over and over. It saves you time, right? And it saves you, like, writing code out. I also put error reporting on, right? So we included this PHP module whenever we needed it. So this is the application that I have running. Everyone has this application running?
Yeah.
Right? This is the one that I sent out? Okay, so in my home, my index.php, I have output list, and output list is just doing a very basic query where it's just giving me everything from members, right? And it's doing a raw SQL query. So to show how ORM functions work, I'm going to take this is the output list one that we did. And can anyone tell me what this does? We've gone over this twice now. Well, I guess we'll split it up. So Juan, do you want to tell me what this first line does?
It requires that file, and if you don't have the file, then the page won't load at all.
Exactly, and then this file has all the connection information, right?
Yes.
So, excellent. So we have this connection.php. All that information is now in this file. Okay, so David, what's the next line?
It selects all the columns
Mm-hmm.
from the members table.
Exactly, and it puts it into a,
Associative array.
well, right now it's into a variable, right? Exactly, perfect. Demi, what does the next line do?
So this is results. I guess it connects the result from that.
Connects the result? This is just a variable. In PHP, variables are created with the bling operator, right?
Yeah.
So what is this over here?
I'm not sure of the query. Does it look for it or?
So connect is coming from where? Where's this connect coming from? It's a variable, right?
It's right there.
Where? This one's actually kind of tricky.
Yeah, I know. 'Cause I see it on NEM. Connect.
Oh.
Close.
Right, but where is it coming from? Can anyone tell me where connect is coming from?
Connection.
Yeah, connection.php, because we included connection.php. We actually go here, and there it is. There's where we assign the expression into this variable. So it's a connection. It's a new MySQLi instance. Okay? So now that we have connect, in PHP, this just means, okay, the following is a method of this object. So the forward arrow is the same thing as dot. Okay, so connect dot query, and then query is something that you can then use to send a query to. So you pass it a query argument. Now where is this SQL defined? Right there above it, right here. So now, so Demi, so what we're saving into result is what?
Can you go back to the other?
And actually, let me open these up side by side.
Oh, okay, so it's for the user input? Is it the server name? I mean the username?
No, it's actually okay. So this looks like I'm using the server name, username, password, and everything. This is just to create a new connection. So now it's already connected, right? This is the connection object. Once you have a connection object, you then have the ability to have a bunch of methods available to you on that connection object.
Right, okay.
One of those objects is the query method. Sorry, not one of the objects. One of the methods available to you is the query method. The query method allows you to pass in a SQL query to this connection. So you made this connection here. You now save that connection into a variable. You're now using that variable and you're saying, okay, use a method called query, which is available on the connect object. That method takes in a SQL query. And what it does is it actually queries this database, this connection. So it's making a query, passing this in to this server name, this using this information here. So you're connecting to the monster database and you're running this query. So the information being passed back is saved into this variable. That's why it's called result. Okay, so Ashley, what does this next line do?
So the result, that variable is connected to the number of rows.
Well, if the forward arrow means this is a method of this object, or a property of an object. Remember,
Pretend dot.
pretend it's a dot, so it's a property or a method of the object.
But I don't know where that num rows is coming from.
It's coming from the result object. This is implicit, meaning that when you, okay, so when you do connect query, this query is available to you once you set this up. You instantiated a new object from MySQLi. MySQLi is a constructor. So let's say I can do this again. Connect equals new MySQLi, or blah 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 equals new MySQLi. Then on blah blah blah, I can do blah 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 dot query. I can do a whole bunch of different methods. Let's take a look at MySQLi. Come on. MySQLi methods. You have all these methods available to you. Here we go. So we did query. These are all the different methods that are available on MySQLi. All these methods. There's debug, commit, close, character set name, auto commit, multi-query, next result. So we did this one called query. Now, I didn't want you guys to have to look at all this crap. There's a whole bunch of crap, right? But all we have to worry about is we're just using this one method called query. All these are methods available on this object when you instantiate a new MySQLi object. Do you guys remember constructor functions in JavaScript? Yeah, so this is a constructor function essentially, right? So MySQLi is essentially this. So then when I do Oh, actually, not some SQL. Some params, whatever. Then it'll give me back a new object with all the properties inside that constructor function, right? It's the same thing. So they already set this up for you, this constructor. So this is, I'm just doing new MySQLite. So same thing as in JavaScript. So we have this constructor, and it creates this new object for you, and now you have all these methods that I listed over here, right? We saw all these different methods. So that's why one of the methods that I used was, okay, like this one was connect error. So connect error, right? That's another one of the methods. So let's go here. Let's see, does this one have connect error? Yeah, connect error, here we go. Right? So these are all different properties and methods available on MySQLite. But the documentation is really confusing, so I'd rather just not have you guys worry about that too much. So once I did that, I was able to say, okay, now I have this object for me to use. So now we're over here. Okay? So maybe it was my fault. I need to take this slower. Okay, so result is a variable that I created, and it's equal to this expression. What does this expression do? So Demi explained it already. Anyone?
Connects that variable with your new MySQL.
Correct, yeah. So I'm using, well, the way to explain it would be, I'm now using this instantiated object, which I saved into a variable called connect. And then I'm using this method called query, which is available on this object, to then make a SQL query to my database. Because that is what this method does. Remember, I have like dozens of queries or dozens of methods available on this connect object once I instantiate it. Could I name this whatever I want?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could name that whatever I want. Connect is just something that makes sense for me, right? Yeah.
Query is a PHP method?
It's a PHP method only available on a new instance of MySQLite. So in order to create a new MySQLite, you have to pass it certain things, right? So once it connects to your database, now you can use certain methods.
So you're only passing it the information that's on that table, right? So
Yeah.
server name, username, and password.
Yeah, that's all I'm passing it, right? And it creates a new connection. Once you have a connection, now you can do a whole bunch of things with it. Now you have all these methods available for you to manipulate your database and interact with it and interact with that connection. Is that starting to make a little bit more sense? So essentially you have to pass it information to create, it's a constructor function, right? Again, these concepts, they're not just in JavaScript, they're across all programming languages. So we're doing the exact same thing here. This is a dot. This is the same thing. This is the exact same syntax as constructor function in JavaScript. If statements, and then we go back here and we're saying, okay, this is just a string being stored in a variable. Inside JavaScript, this would just, actually, in Node, you'd use require. When you guys work with JavaScript, with the new ES6 syntax, it's going to be import. Same thing. Okay? So you're going to be seeing this in JavaScript as well. In this case, so now we do connect query. So connect, and what is this the same thing as? This arrow? It's the same thing as a dot in what? JavaScript, right? So now we're working with PHP. Different language, still a web-based language. Now, SQL is going to be what? What does this represent? Yeah, it's just a string being passed in, right? Now the string actually does something. Now when I do this method, if I go to the documentation, essentially all it does is it says, okay, with this connection, make this query into the database with the connection that I have, right? So I made this connection and I made this query. The result of that information given back to me is now stored in a let's see. It's stored in associative array format, I believe. It's stored in it's stored in an associative array format, and it's stored in this variable called what? Result. Now, I have these different methods available to me when I get my result back. Okay? So the result that I get back has its own methods available. So I know this because I've read through tutorials and documentation and everything like that, right? So I'm saying this is what you get back, and this is what you only need to really know right now. If result, again, this is like what? Dot num rows is greater than 0. So what does that mean?
So if that
exactly
table
what you
has
said.
more than 0 rows,
Then do
fetch the associative array and echo
Yeah.
information.
So now I get back, all this information. So if it's, if there's at least one row, then, go through all this information and spit it out in this way. Otherwise, say 0 results. And then connect, again, has another method available to it called close. So you close that connection. Because right now you're leaving it open, right? But now you're saying, okay, now close that connection, I'm done. So we're going to do something similar. Now, I'm going to now use one of my methods to run this whole thing in an easier way. So let's see, connect. And I'm going to require ORM. And now I can just do this. And let's see if this works first. And now I'm doing a little bit more checking on it too. So it has this additional confirm query as well. So this is exactly the same thing, except it also confirms the query using this other function over here. So if I refresh, I still get Butts McGee loves butts. Okay. Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and let's do something. Let's do this in index. Or I can create my own. Yeah, we've been creating our own, so let's just create our own. So I'm going to create add info.php. And I'm just going to copy some of this stuff, paste into here. And now what I'm going to do is, actually, no. Should I do that? No, if we're going to add information, then we can't have it as a separate file. So I'm going to remove that. If I'm going to do an index.php, it wouldn't make as much sense. Maybe I can do it in contact. Yeah, I think contact would make more sense. Okay. So in contact.php, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another form, and this is going to send information. All right, so let me create a form. And this form is going to be a post, but I actually don't need any of this one, actually. Let me create another form. So let's create a form to add information to my database. So what kind of information do we want to add? I have monster, and I have items, and I have members, right? So in my items, I actually have some interesting things. I have item name, item cost, and item description. I feel like we went through this last week, right? Yeah. Where's that information?
I think you put it under options. Yeah, you did one under options.
Oh, so I already have all this information. Okay, so I already did this. Okay, cool. So let's go to auctions. Excellent. Okay, so I already have this auctions one. I totally forgot that I did this. And this auction one actually goes through my information and is able to insert information in there directly. So I think you guys got confused about this, right? Okay, so let's take a look at what I did. So this one seems to work. I'm able to insert information from here. So if I type in, what's the new Nintendo game or Nintendo console coming out? Switch. Switch. Item cost is going to be 500. Item description. Cool. All right. Submit. And if I go to my database and I go to items, and I go to browse, look at that, Nintendo Switch. Oh, I forgot about Jessica Alba. How could I forget about her? She's timeless. It says that over here. She's timeless. All right. So Nintendo Switch is the item name. The ID is automatically generated. Item cost is there. And the item description is there. All right. So now let's say I want to retrieve that data, right? So then what I could do is I have this, SQL get everything from items, and all this crazy stuff. But instead of doing all that, I can actually just do a require output list and change this to be get everything from items. And let me just see what I got over here. So auction. See if I can do this. I'm gonna try and cheat it. Hopefully it allows me to do that because I'm just importing essentially. So if I go to auction list, let's see, undefined index, item name, yeah, that's fine. It doesn't fail, but it's not giving me everything back. So let's take a look at output list. All from items, get all information. Let's see, that should show up. So it's maybe in here somewhere and I'm not able to see it. I was trying to hack it too. Let's see, so we have auctions, fill all the fields, insert all the information. Oh, I'm not telling you where to put it either. So I'd have to update this and be like, okay, this is where I'm going to put it into inside the inside my HTML file. So maybe, yeah, I think I'd have to do it manually. Well, let me see where I can put it. Let's find a nice place. What would be a nice place to put information into? Add more items underneath the form? Or maybe another aside. Yeah, let's do an aside. Okay. And this is a good thing about PHP. I can just put PHP where I want. So I'm just going to wrap this in if post. Actually, no. I'll just have that run. No matter what. Okay. And look at that. It looks really crappy, right? But I have the data. It gives me all the information. Jessica Alba, timeless beauty, is both business savvy, elegant, and intelligent. I have to repeat that 3 times just in case. And it has item cost, description, and item name on the side as well. So again, this is just something I just put up. I can, instead of putting it in a side, I don't know. Design guys, design girls, can you guys tell me? Make it look nicer, like a div.
Yeah, I mean, you can put it next to the other table.
So I should just, yeah, I can just bootstrap it, right?
Let me go back to
On the other
Let
side.
me go back to the subject before.
And, well, okay, so I'll just not make it float, right? Okay. Well, I mean, you guys understand what I'm trying to do, though, right? I'm just trying to put it in a box.
In a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over that in a little bit right now. So, okay. Let's just do div. Okay. Yeah, that looks crappy, but okay, it looks a little bit better though. All right, so what I did was, last week I said, okay, require ORM functions.php, require error reporting.php. Now, we just went over ORM functions and error reporting. We already have that, right? Does anyone not understand what those do? Everyone gets that? We're good on that? Yeah?
The error reporting now.
Yeah, the error reporting just shows you errors that occur. So error reporting at PHP is literally 2 lines, and just shows you, hey, display errors. So instead of auctions, we have, anytime we have, post, then we do item name, item cost, item description, and I'm saving it into there. So, actually, I could make these better by saving it inside of post, and that way I don't get any errors. Because if there's a post, then let's put everything into this. And then that could save us from errors. So let me just do that. So if there's a post, then let's do that. Yeah, now we don't get any errors. All right. So what does this first part do? And what is this post? Super. So Emily, it's your turn. Yeah. Super. What is this post?
So it gets everything from the global,
Super global variable, right? So this is your super global variable. When does it get created?
When the user inputs them.
Whenever the user makes a request, a post request, right? When the user does a post request, how can you tell if it's a post request?
That's the form.
Yeah, the form tells you, hey, the action is going to be to the URL. The method is going to be post. If this method was get, then what would happen up here?
It needs to be get.
Get, yeah. So what it does, it takes all that information and it puts it into the super global variable as an associative array, right? Associative array is just name value pairs. Like, so the names come from what?
From the name attribute.
Exactly. From the name attribute inside of each one of these inputs, right? So I have this text area input. The name attribute is coming from here. This, just like David mentioned. In input, it's implicit. The name is submit, and the value is going to be submit. In this input, it's what? Item cost, yes. What about this one? Item name, yeah. So item name, item cost, all these things, they're going to be, they're going to have the value of whatever the user inputted. You guys heard of Google's I/O conference? Their big thing that they do every year, the Google I/O.
Yeah.
That's called input-output. This is the basics of computer science. That's why they do it. It's like the whole of computer science is inputting some information, getting some output. This is the basics of computer science. So what we're doing is inputting information, getting that input, and we're able to output that information. So we input information from the user, process it, and output that information back to the user. Okay? So now we're doing some cool stuff. We're doing actual input output. Right? So if item name is equal to blank, or item cost is equal to blank, or item description is equal to blank, then what does that mean? So Juan Taramira.
Oh. That it won't. You can't send it, or it won't work until those items are filled in.
Exactly. So if these are empty strings, then meow is going to equal fill out all the fields. So I could use meow at some point later. I could just put that inside some I don't know, some div, and I can just put meow, right? And if I could set meow to some default like an empty string, and then if someone put something, one of these are not filled out correctly, and they'll say, oh, fill out all the fields.
You can have actual cat pop up and just say that.
Yeah, you can actually have a cat show up and do that. So otherwise, we're going to run this function that I created called insert or update info. What it does is it allows you to put in a SQL query, right? So this isn't what you guys did SQL last week. What does this do? So David, what does it do now?
Inserts the user's input into the items table,
Yes.
into the item name, item cost, and item description row. No, column,
Yes. Each one of those columns.
and the values is, and then it inputs the value that the user put in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And which one of these, like, where are these coming from? These values.
From the variables that you created.
Exactly. These variables that came from this associative array, right? Exactly. So we have this information being inserted into this table, and the items these are the different columns that we're inserting into, right? These are a one-to-one thing over here. So we're saying put this information into this column, this information into this column, and this information into this column. These are just the variables that have this information anyway. So if someone put in Jessica Alba, it's going to go in item name. Item cost, infinity billion. Item description, it's going to be, timeless beauty, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? Does that make sense though?
Yeah.
All right. She is though.
Okay, so for our classwork, when you wanted us to change 2 of the rows, would we be using something like insert or update info for 2 of your rows of the
I'm
other
sorry,
two?
wait, what?
You know how on our challenge it was supposed to be change 2 rows to be the same name?
So yeah, so that's actually going to be an update. So it would be insert or update info, so you can use the same thing. But instead of insert into, it would be
Update.
update, yeah.
And then
So-
you put update and then monster, whatever the name of your table, and then the row.
Or not the name, yeah, so it would be like, not the monster is the name of my database stuff.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, so it would be insert, or it would be update,
Isn't this database called items? I
no,
mean, it's that
the-
table.
the
name.
table's called item.
So then you would have to put the table name. Like
Yeah, so the table, so it's going to be update, and I can go over that too, so let's do that too.
Wait, before you go any further, so the thing that you deleted underneath that was like, you moved it to another page.
No, I moved it to the same page. So now this is the same thing we did before. This is the exact same code, almost exact same code that we had before. I just changed the different values. So if you go to output list, it's very similar, right? Now, oh yeah, and don't let me shit.
Yeah, so you changed that back, right?
Yeah, I changed it back. So if I go to auctions, this is actually for item name, item cost, item description, but all the rest of the code that we just went over is the same, right? We went over output list. We know what this does. This is essentially giving me a get, and this is taking all the information and outputting it in the way I want. And you can output it in different ways. You don't have to just echo this out. You can actually create whole bits of like HTML surrounding each one of these instead of just strings. Right? So notice that I used some HTML over here. That should give you a hint. you can make this whole thing wrapped in HTML the way you want it.
Okay.
Right? So I could have put this whole thing in a div. Just like that. So now if I go here, I can actually take this out because now it's already going to be in a div. Notice it looks the same because when I injected it, this whole thing has a div around it. Or actually, sorry, each one of these rows has a div around it now. So what you could do is you can still put a div around this whole thing.
So what would be better? Do it around the whole entire thing?
Well, you need one container around the whole thing, and then each one of these could have their own div. You can have their own p element instead. That might be better. Oop. Let's see. There we go. Look how nice that is. And we can just do that using strings. And it interprets it because it knows how to use it. What the hell is this? Oh, it's just article tag. So we can just take that out.
Wait, so you're putting. Never mind.
Use the BR tag.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm gonna take that BR tag. Nope, nope, nope. That's, you're right. There we go. Let me see. Can I make this look nicer too? Yeah, and then I could add a whole bunch of different styling. I could put span tags in each one of these, make everything look all nice, and make it all pretty and stuff. So how about we do that? Like, I'm gonna send you guys this information. I want you guys to make this look good now. Okay? I want you guys to play around with this and really get familiarized. So what I'll do is I'll compress it and I'll send it to you guys.
What was that white block that you took out?
I just took out an article. Yeah. So I'll just send this whole thing.
Okay, and then can we go over the inserting, because I remember when we did it on what was it, Code Academy,
Mm-hmm.
it made sense, but then I'm like, maybe we were going too fast.
Okay. Well, we just did inserting right now.
Okay, so I'm trying to, what page did we do it on? I think it was on the back.
Well, let me send this out first. Unless you guys, do you guys want it or no?
I mean, output list stayed the same, right? We didn't change.
Output
that.
list stays the same.
Okay, then I'm good. Or no, yeah. Did you guys get it? Emily wants it.
Send it out. Install this application too while you guys are at it. Make it look like something your own. Put pictures inside. Make it look good. It looks like butt right now. Yeah, it just has butts all over it. Now make sure you guys. I have my database with Jessica Alba stuff, so you guys can't mess with that.
So, because it says to do it on your staff member table, which is on the index page. So then we do,
Staff?
yeah, it says change like the name.
Oh,
of the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
staff to be the same.
So staff is going to be a table that you, I think that we had before.
Because, yeah, we included it,
Yeah.
the staff output list, or the staff output. One of those.
So you can just change that to, let's see. So instead of staff, it can be,
I know we have these.
Hmm?
I don't know.
oh, that is really cool.
I don't know if it's good or
It looks good. All right.
not. Looks hipster.
You're interrupting class. Wait, where the hell did my information go? Oh, I renamed it. That's why. Okay. So I just got really confused. Which never happens, right? I just need an assistant in every class. What do you mean an assistant? Yeah, I need Jackie in this class. Just to remind me of things.
Do not. Oh, really?
Okay. Do you need a strong hand?
I think I took off the wrap.
Okay. All right, so I'll give you guys until like 7:05. Did you guys all get the zip file in Slack? Okay, so just open it and then go inside the query string and try to manipulate it. Make sure you guys understand the code that I gave you guys, and make it look like how you guys want to make it look. I can give you guys a little bit of extra time too. And I'm gonna do some, styling as well, so maybe I can make it look better in the meantime.
You just want us to change the style of that page?
Of just this, like the form and the information that comes out. So essentially you're messing with the PHP in order to make the effect of the HTML look different. Such that if you have this auctions right here, you're changing this information right here.
Inside the
Yeah,
P.
you're the one that said it. Alright, so, and manipulate this however you guys wish to make it look like how you guys want it to look. Right, so you guys can add classes in there as well. You can do whatever you want. I want to make sure you guys understand how these are done and where you can put them. So you can even move this around too in like different areas and whatnot. Cool?
Cool.
Talk to me if you guys don't understand. Please, give me feedback. Yes?
Well, mine's like showing 2 rows when there's only 1.
It's showing 2 rows and there's
so it has
only
like
one.
an ID. Yeah, so I input on my table there's only 1 item, but then on the page there's 2.
Hold on.
So there. And then when I input the item cost, it came out as
Jesus.
You have to. Just refresh it.
But then why would the item cost not work?
It's just probably not done right. Where's item cost? You're inserting. This is retrieving. Item cost. Item cost. Is it the same name? Yeah. Item cost. Let's check against the database. I think it's set to 0.
Yeah, but when I filled it in from that form, isn't it supposed to get information from there?
I think in the form.
So when I put it in here, I put the cost to be 500 and then
Let's see.
came back.
500. Yeah.
That's weird. So every time you
Oh,
refresh the page, it's
shit.
gonna add?
No. What I'm doing is it saved that query. Notice the query parameter at the end. So it's just saving that last submit that I did.
But it's not actually adding it.
It is because I'm just refreshing it and I'm refreshing that same query that was made, that was sent out.
Okay.
So now if I remove that query parameter, now I'm just getting the page without anything yet.
Okay.
So I just added a bunch of shit to your database.
Thanks.
Auctions one, right?
Yeah.
I can't seem to.
What? Ugh. Why are there so many things here?
Everything else on the other pages works.
Okay, let's take a look at your auctions. Do you have an items?
Oh.
Do you have all this set up?
Oh.
isn't showing up. Like, it just has the header and everything.
Okay. Okay. Oh, it's your output list.php. Output list.php. Do you have members?
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, I think so.
In your database? Let's take a look at here. You do have members. Is this connected to Juarez Design? Let's see if your connection.php Juarez Design. Generally, you don't have spaces in between, but that's been working for you?
Yeah, I mean the options one works.
Oh, so options works. Oh, that's weird.
So
It just froze. Oh, okay. Whoa, what's going on? It did. Oh. Yeah, you have to hit the control delete version of Mac. Oh. Yeah, it's been really slow. Okay. Jesus. Let's close a bunch of stuff.
oh yeah, I have all this other stuff.
Oh yeah, do you mind if I?
Yeah, just
Oh yeah. Oh, if I quit, then it's gonna ask for a save anyway. If it's not already saved. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So we have options works, you said. The index is coming up blank. So let's see what's different about. And it's probably if I do this, then everything's gonna be fine. Let's see why that's happening. Oh wait. Oh. Huh. So it's something else that's causing an issue. Oh. Let me just see if I can get rid of that. Oh yeah, that is it. Okay. It's just not commenting it. Output list. There's something wrong in here that I'm not seeing. Oh, SQL query. SQL. That should be it. Because it wasn't SQL query.
this right here is a method, right?
Yeah.
Getting all the info from this variable.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that
Oh, did you require? Shit. Require. Yeah, you're right. ORM functions. functions.php. There we go.
So I'm having the same trouble where I can't see.
What are you doing? Learn from Jessica Alba.
You don't need to yell.
Just, I'm making up for last week. Okay. There's no SQL for it, it's just SQL. Another thing is they're using my mother. And then what else? This. There we go.
What did you just do the last word?
So required, so I needed this ORM function because I'm using this method over here. SQL instead of SQL query over here. And this last part I put a semicolon at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Okay. You have so much space. Why is this so cramped? You can move these up.
Jesus.
Okay, I'm just gonna move these up. There we go. That way everything's not so cramped.
I think I'm completely lost. Right, so what's happening? So
Oh, it's a fishy. It's freaking out.
it's Jasper.
Jasper.
Alright, so
None of this is
the
working,
option
goddammit.
or the option.
Okay.
Oh,
This
I'm
says
trying.
And
again.
the auctions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Query not valid, no info available. So that means you probably. And I want you guys to pair up too. Everyone seems to be done with it.
See, this shit
So first, do you have a monster database?
That's what I was trying to create. So
You have a monster database, excellent.
not great.
So that's what you need. You need to create a table for. Yeah. So it's gonna have 3. Well, let's see. No, it's gonna have 4, including ID. And then the table is gonna be. Let's go to index. Item name, item cost, item description, and the query is gonna be into items. So you need an items. So you need to go into here. In the items. And now you're gonna create my thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and do you remember how to create the schema?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
So a few more minutes.
For whatever reason, I can't get my CSS to work again. But I'm like looking at the same thing that was going on last time.
What did you do?
Who knows? This is the same thing I was trying to do on my project, and then it worked. But then it's not working again.
Das ist weird. Okay. Did you figure it out?
So I gave it my class of items table,
Okay.
and it still looks like that. On that page, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The class. I'm not sure. Is there anything inside that with one thing that transform?
I don't know, there was no air that was popping up.
This is weird. Oh, refresh it. Did you refresh it?
A million times.
Did you save it?
A billion
That just
times.
happened to me too. I said
That's why this MAM thing is questionable, because sometimes I'll have to close it and then open it again, and after I do that, then things will refresh.
I didn't have to do that.
It's so weird. It did that with my project too.
Didn't work for me.
Always does, huh?
Maybe you're just losing your mind.
That's probably what's going on here.
When in doubt, just think what Jessica Alba would do.
Never.
I don't know. Why never? She's an amazing, successful businesswoman.
That's cool.
Who happens to be juggling a family life with a business life. Running a
What
multi-billion dollar
else do you
business.
know about her?
A lot. I was gonna work for her company.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why didn't you?
Because he said he was.
Then because she got married.
Internet
did.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Sounds so defeated.
It's okay. There's always hope. Is everyone else able to style their stuff?
What's the AI mean in the database?
Auto increment.
Okay.
All right, let's get back to it. Easy enough time styling stuff though? Yeah? Alright. So I improved mine a little bit to make it look more like, based on what I think looks great. So I think this gives it a lot more flair, a lot more class. I think also the color scheme, the color palette really like draws it out, along with some other minor things. So now what I'm going to go to is updating. So we haven't done updating yet, right? So let's do updating. This is normally where I set up routes. I'm going to do it without routes. Let me see. No, should I even teach you guys routes? It's going to be complicated. Alright, yeah, I'm not going to do it with routes right now. It's a little bit complicated. So the right thing to do would be to have each one of these endpoints for editing, for creating, for updating, all that, have its own route that it hits, so that instead of having it everything in one page, everything has a specific page that it does processing information, and then it comes back to whatever view you want the information to come back to. But I think that's a little too complicated right now, so for editing, I also have a separate page for it. So let's create a new page called, let's see. No, edit profile, .php. And let's go to our navigation. Where's our navigation? Header. No. Oh, we didn't put this into a file. Let me put the header, the nav and the header all in the same place. So I'm going to move this into the header. I'm going to take all that nav and I'm going to put that into the header. And that way, across my other pages, I can just get rid of this nav stuff. Because the same thing every page. Edit profile of PHP, I took it out. So now, oh, let's see, auctions, I guess I didn't. Yeah, let me take it out of there. Ah. About, let me take it out from about. Header PHP. Cool. So that should make things less redundant. And what I'm going to do is, I want to add edit over here. So I'm going to do href equals edit profile.php. And if I hit refresh, look at that. Pretty simplistic, right? I'm gonna make these look nicer too. Let's change that color. What's a good offset against? Oh God. Yeah, actually. No. This one? No? No. Wait, well, no. Ugh. Oh, yeah. That's a good color. I like this color. So, what is that? Main menu A. Change that. That looks a lot nicer. And instead of square, what I'm going to do is make these circlish. Look nicer like that? You guys tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I usually don't use buttons, I usually just have text.
Hmm?
I usually just have text. I avoid the buttons.
Just, oh, okay.
Yeah, all caps. No buttons.
Okay.
Bold.
So then redo it. Redo the whole thing. Make it look nice. Alright. So I was easily able to add another button. Was everyone else able to do that pretty easily as well?
Yeah, but all my buttons shifted to the left. I don't know.
Anyone else had that problem? I don't know what you
Can
did.
you go back to the header thing?
Hmm?
Can you go back to the,
But
yes.
so now we're going to be working on edit profile. So essentially I just copied everything over. And I'm going to say, let's see, if I wanted to edit something, let's see, I wanted to edit an existing name. This one's going to be a little tricky. Okay. So I want to change this. Let's say I want to change the last name. Nintendo Switch 500 Cool.
Wait, so on that page, where did you copy that from?
I copied all this from auctions. So this is edit. Yeah. So now let's see, if I wanted to update information, then what I have to do is my form has to be, okay, what do you want to update? What do you want to update it to? So what we do is we say, okay, we're going to use this to determine what the item name is going to be. There should be just one item name. And then this is going to be, you know, what do you want to change it to, right? So, there's actually another example that we're going to use today that actually goes over this. I'm wondering if I should do it with that or I should do it with this. I can just do it with this. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to have multiple fields now. So this is going to be called new item name. So I just changed everything, and I'm going to do the same thing across item cost and item description as well. I'm just going to copy and paste that information. Ooh, I found a mistake here. All right. I'm just going to keep doing new item cost, new. All right, so at the end it should look something like this, right? Pretty crappy, but functional. Make sure you change the names as well, the IDs, names, all that stuff. And what I did was a copy paste.
Even for the label part?
Yeah, I changed that too. Nope. Yeah, I did.
So does that mean we have to create new variables as well?
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna be creating new variables as well. We good? So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this information and we're going to put it inside our post variable. So again, I'm just going to do copy paste, and it's going to be new item name.
Does that go above?
Yeah, I can go wherever. Just make sure that the names actually match up though. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm? Yeah, just looking through this. Okay, for right now, we're just going to do it in a very simple way. And later I'm going to show you guys how to do it in a much better way. So right now we have this information. So first thing we need to do is check to see if these are empty, right? We only need to check if item name, item cost, and item description are there. We're also going to later on learn how to say, okay, if one of these are present, then we're going to go on. But let's just say that we just want to check item name, item cost, item description. And if they didn't put anything for the new ones, we don't care. It's just going to be updated with nothing. It's just going to stay the same. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do update. And let me just check my syntax. Go here. SQL update items. Set. So I'm just putting these in right now. I'm gonna change that a little bit. Give me a second. Set. Like that. And we're just gonna assume they want to change everything. So this is gonna be like an all change. And I'm gonna show you guys later how to do it just one change at a time. And it's just basically gonna be conditional statements. All right, so we're gonna do item name is gonna be new item name. So it's gonna be new item name. Item cost is gonna be new item cost. It's gonna be new item description. Okay. And that's gonna be in a where clause. So where okay, so let's see, that should work. Let's see if that actually works. Okay, nothing's broken yet. So let me see. So name I want to change is Nintendo Switch. And the new item name is going to be Nintendo Ditch. Item cost, I don't know. Oh, I don't think I need to put that in actually. So let's take out these two factors. The only one I actually need is item name. So I don't need to put in the old item cost. New item cost, I'm just gonna put, actually yeah, so let's just take that out. Because I don't need the old item cost. The only thing I need is the, everything I need to look it up. And that comes from item name. So I can get rid of those. So let's get rid of item cost. And let's get rid of item description. Keep the new item description there though. Okay. So this is just for looking up purposes, the item name. And the new stuff is if I want to add new stuff to it. So over here we're going to put Nintendo Switch. Over here I'm going to put Nintendo Ditch. Item cost is actually going to be 400. And new item description is going to be, hey, it sucks. Submit. And look at that. Updated. Pretty cool.
What if you don't? So if you do that again,
Mm-hmm. What if I refresh?
oh, well, what?
What do you want from me?
What if you don't put our new item cost? We'll just take the old cost.
This one expects it right now.
So it just feels like it just seems like the same exact thing as before.
I'm updating an existing record. Let's say it already exists. This is one, if it's already existing, then I'm updating it. I'm changing it.
Yeah, but you wouldn't change everything about it in real.
What did I mention earlier?
What? But still, yeah. But you would. How about if it's a?
Well, what did I mention?
Give me like a real world scenario. Why would I change everything?
But what did I mention?
Why would I change everything?
No, but what did I say? You weren't paying attention, right? So I said I'm actually going to show you guys a much better way to do this, where we're going to have the way to do this like separately. That's going to be later on today. Right now, I just want to do simplification. Yeah. So this is the same thing that you do. Like, let's say you want to change your information about your profile, your username, your, I don't know, whatever, all that crap. That's one way of doing it. So I'm essentially creating a CMS at this point, right? So right now what I'm doing is if you had, I don't know, if you had some kind of system and that users were able to see all these things, like, you know, you just show them this, and admin could only see this. You could do that. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that. It's going to be called cookies and login and all that stuff. Okay? So now let's get to that. So before that, I want you guys to take a small break because I think your minds are probably hurting.
Can you go back to Sublime so I can see that? The update.
Okay, yeah, let me send you guys this file. Let's take like a 10-minute break. Come back by 7:46. You guys feel like you need a break first off? Yeah? Okay, we'll take a break then. Pay attention.
I remember you saying that.
I literally said it like 5 minutes ago.
I just felt completely pointless.
I said right now it's a crappy way of doing it. I'm gonna show you guys a way better way of doing it where it's gonna be much more granular. I'm gonna get myself a tea and some biscuits.
So if we were confused last week and we didn't do, if you still want to see million, we don't
Can you finish it by end of day?
think so.
Alright.
After we finish this, I feel like we can do it.
Okay. Does it make sense now?
Yeah, I mean, we were just confused because you were trying to figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
and then it went by so fast, and we're like, well, we don't know.
Okay.
I mean, we understood it when we were doing it on CodeCaptain, but it was different with this. I don't know why.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know where all my files went. They just disappeared. I had these all set up in a much better way too. Mm.
Mm.
You turn your stuff?
Not yet.
What are you doing? You said you were gonna do it today.
Still need to finish it.
Mm.
I am stuck on how my PHP app works. But I'll get it.
So actually, why don't you like Jessica Alba? Why don't you love Jessica Alba?
She's cool, she's a mother.
Hmm?
But if I was a guy, I wouldn't go for it.
But she's not just a woman. Like she has her own business and she started from the ground up.
I don't know. Different strokes for different folks, you know?
Just don't understand the hate.
You want some chips?
Oh no, thanks. Did you choose your birthday present or your what's it called?
So I asked him, and he said.
Your wedding, yeah.
He said dishes.
Are you really bored about that?
Well, I thought you would want something like cool.
Dishes are cool. They can
I
be
mean,
cool.
I guess.
You are such a grown up.
I am. Just
You're
because
like
I
a
went
grown-up.
shopping for all this shit, so I'm like, yo, this could be fun.
Aw.
Yeah, I just love a bunch of stuff.
Yeah?
Too many things. I went to IKEA and it was like way too much fun.
Aw.
Did you take your dog?
I went to go see her today, and my brother was kind of like, he was like, in a way, saying, he's like, yeah, take her, it's your dog. And he's like, but she's gonna be this and that, like alone, da da da. And I'm like, dude, if you want her to stay here, just let me know. Because you're more of a girl than I am.
You are very manly.
I know. That's cool though.
Ah. You do your thing.
That's what happens when you go with the brother that beats you up. You don't have a choice.
Do you really beat you up?
I mean, we used to like be very aggressive with one another.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll explain something.
What are you trying to say?
I just explained something. Okay, so dishes and what else?
I don't know.
Like bathroom stuff?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay. Alright, I'll do that. You guys have like a theme going on, or?
We haven't talked about it yet. We're still deciding about like the guest list, and just talking about it is stressing me out.
Just let like someone else take care of everything.
I know.
All my friends who got married, they're just like just let someone else take care of it. Or just do it small.
We're trying to have it small, but he has a really big family.
Can they just take care of it?
That's what I'm trying to have him do.
Just have a bunch of sponsors. You know how like they pay for a lot of stuff. That's the way to go.
Wedding brought to you by Amazon.
Cooking for geeks.
I'm trying to look for geek-based like dishes.
I tried looking and they were all like kids. Like little kid dishes.
Right? Do you like? Okay, do you guys like Star Wars? Do you guys like?
Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There's gonna be plenty of these. Okay. Oh wow. That's pretty cool. It's a Millennium Falcon serving plate. That's pretty cool, actually. But I want them to be nice too. I want high quality.
Fucking awkward. Is there anything about you just wanted to reach out? That's fucking cool. Weirdo. Oh, Roman.
Just text you.
She had you on the couch.
Are you okay?
No.
What happened? What happened?
My ex-boyfriend.
The one you've been with for a really long time?
It wasn't that long.
Huh?
It wasn't that long. Like 10 months.
Oh, that. Oh shit. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's been a while now. Hey, I mean, at least he's honest. So weird though.
Do you need like a breakup gift?
Yeah, a bottle of Jameson would be great.
I don't think I can get you that. I think that's pretty illegal. I can get you like one of those arm boyfriends. You know that you like the you know what I'm talking?
Pillows?
Yeah, the arm pillow boyfriend. Let me see. I was gonna get my cousin one of those.
That's hilarious. Right there. Deluxe Let's go for.
Oh my god.
That's hilarious. I would totally use that.
Would you actually use this?
I don't know. The hand's kind of creepy.
That is kind of creepy. It's a little
I
too
feel like
pale.
holding it.
It's a little too pale. Oh my god. Holy
That
crap.
one has a nipple.
This one really has a nipple on it.
Please don't. That's gonna be so awkward.
I'm just gonna bring it to class. Who's this for? This is for Ashley
I'm
Hayes.
Teaching the class with this or
Oh my god.
That's all you. That's hilarious.
This might be for me in a few years. Let's see. Oh my god, this is bad. Holy crap. Come on, we found something for you. Ready?
What?
We found something. Here.
For those lonely nights, Mom. It's hilarious.
We found something for all of us. It looks really weird. Look at the hands, too. They're like Trump hands. Tiny little hands. I want this one. Oh, that's pretty great. Okay. So now we're going to go through today's lecture, which was, let's see. We actually did everything up to this point, which is debugging made easy. So we're good up to this point. Now we have CRUD. So we've already done some CRUD operations. What have we done so far with CRUD?
We created something.
Created something?
Create, rebuild, I know use for update, right?
Read. So what do we do for read?
Connect.
Not just connect information. That's for everything, right? For read, what do we do? Anyone? You use that multiple times, actually.
Result?
Yeah, that was the result one. Well, so what we did was we said, okay, do a select star or select anything. A select statement is when we're doing a read, right? That retrieves information, and we're just displaying that information. Update, and we just did update, right? So we haven't done destroy, but destroy is very similar to what we've done. You can actually just do it the same way you did update, except instead of doing update, just say destroy where you find this user. And instead of putting any kind of update, you just have one field. Click on that, and it finds that user and just destroys it. Right? Or it finds that piece of information, destroys that. So it'll destroy an entire row of information. You can destroy more than one row of information too.
So this is like when you did that one function that did all four at one time, right? Because you were like, create it, and then you update it, and then you put destroy it in.
Which one?
I think you did it last week, but really fast. Maybe
I don't
not.
think so.
Maybe not.
I don't think I did that. But we are going to do that. And we're actually going to create a content management system with a login, log out. We're going to have insert, update, and delete. And we're going to have an exported database and link to live site. And this is going to be over the next few weeks. So we're going to be creating a login registration system, collectively known as an authentication system. So that means someone can actually log in, create, information, all that crap. And this is the same one that's used in WordPress. An authentication system is seen across most major sites and allows you and the user to have control over the data and who can access what and where. It also provides personalization and makes the user more attached to the application. Now, this might be a bit tricky, so I found a video that can help along with the slides. And this video, again, I corrected some of their mistakes because theirs is somewhat out of date, and I'll be implementing some functionality a little bit differently. So this is an old template. I'm going to actually have you guys use the one that you guys are using right now. So let me upload. I'll just upload that later. Just don't use the one that's here. Just use the one that I gave you guys.
The one that we've been using?
Yeah. So all these files, they contain all the code. You already know what the code is. What I did in the older one is I actually separated the require and the includes files. And I did a lot more modularization. So I took the same code that was inside these PHP files and I just split them up a lot more. And I put them into files that are like, required, and I put them into files that were included, and I just split them up more. So into different folder structures. I didn't like do any additional functionality. I just split them up more. That's all I did. Okay. So if you guys look at this structure, I didn't actually do this in the new one that you guys are using, but I did it in the old structure. If you guys want to take a look at it, it's still available there. So if you want to download this, you can go ahead and download it. So go through each file and make sure you understand what's happening. I'm not using constants right now, although I could. Right now, I don't want to get you guys confused with that. We've already been using functions, so you guys already know how that works. Okay, so I'm going to create a page called login.php. So let's go ahead and do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy some stuff from edit profile. So I'm just going to copy that whole thing. I'm just going to paste it in here. And essentially right now everything's just going to look like that edit profile one. So I'm now going to add my login PHP to my nav. So let's go to our nav. So our nav is actually inside of our header. So we just add href equals login.php. I'm just going to call it login. Shit. All right. Hit refresh. Now we have login, right? So we go to login and it looks exactly the same. So what that does is it helps us save a lot of time. We use templating, right? By the way, is this distracting just having Jessica Alba staring at you this whole time?
Just
Is that-
you.
Huh?
That's just you.
It's just me? That's not disturbing anyone else? No? It's not? Alright, let me know. This reminds me of MySpace days. Alright, so we have login and we have all this other information on our nav, right? So you guys all should have something that looks like this. Is that correct? Cool. So we go to login. From there, what I want to do is I want you guys to build a basic HTML form and create a field for username, password. Be sure to set the type to password for the input and a submit button with the name as login and a value as login. The method will be post and the action will be an empty string. All right, we're also going to do some checking on the name and password and see if you can do this on your own. And then we have how the information should look like on the next page.
So where is that going?
It's just going to go in our login.php page. So where we have that existing form, you can just change it. see if that works.
On the login page,
Mhm.
you know the PHP in the beginning?
Mhm.
You deleted all of that?
I actually kept that there because I'm going to be manipulating that a little bit. So I'll give you guys about 10 minutes to work on this. Alright, anyone else to work on it? We're good? Alright. So now we're going to go into PHP and we're actually going to create some data for us to check a login with. So we're going to create a table named users. Let's go to a database called monster and a new table. We're just going to call it users. And number of columns is going to equal, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5. And our first column is going to be ID. And you guys know what to put in here, right? Next one is going to be username. And let me change these. These are all capitalized. And they shouldn't be. And they're out of order too. There we go. Password, salt, and name. I'm going to explain what salt is in a bit. So it's going to be, username is going to be varchar, password is going to be varchar salt. Salt is also going to be varchar. Actually, oh, let's just change them all to text. I think that should make things easier. Name is going to be text. And we're going to leave these two empty.
We're not putting in the length and value for this.
No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to set that to whatever the default is. And then I'm going to save that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a user. And we're just going to put username and password for now. So let's say Jessica123. Password is Jessica123. So now if I go here, I have an ID of 1, username, password, no salt, no name.
Where'd you go to input?
Hmm?
Where'd you go to do that?
Insert. I'm in trouble with the PHP admin stuff.
There it is.
You got it?
Yeah.
Alright. Excellent.
Yourself and name everything.
Nothing there right now. We're going to worry about that in a little bit. Okay, we good? All right, so now we have something to test against. So we're going to create some programming to make sure that when the form is sent, it actually checks against the login information that we have and then returns a correct result. So first we're going to check to see if the user has sent the form using an if statement on the login value. If the value exists and is not null, we can proceed to the next step. Next, we create another if statement to check if the value of the username and password fields were set and are not null. If the values don't exist or are null, we have an else statement that tells the user to enter a username or password. We're now going to store the username and password that was sent in by the user into variables. We can use our function escape quotes to escape any quotes that might be in the username or password. So that's the escape quotes function that I created. Next, we're going to query the database to make sure the username and password exists. Do this by using another one of our helper functions that we created, getAllInfo. So you guys have used this before. This finds the record using the username. Let's get the first instance of the record that comes up and store it into an array. We're going to check to see if the record exists by seeing if the array length is less than or equal to 0. If it is less than or equal to 0, then we're going to kill the connection and tell the user that the username doesn't exist and that we can create the username if they want to. Then we're going to check if the password matches the user. If it doesn't, then we give a similar message to the one for the username. So you guys have done everything here except for the very last part. You guys have already done this in output list, right? So let's take a look at the code. So this is a much more verbose version of what I just did here. So let's take a look at it. So now we're not just checking to see if a post was done, we're checking to see if the login was done. So if login was submitted, right? If someone clicked on the submit button and the name login was in there. So we do is set, which is a function in PHP that checks to see if anything was in there. Let me just see login. And we also check to see if a trimmed version of login also exists. So let's take a look at trim. Bless thee. So trim, it just strips the white space or other characters from the beginning and end of a string. So let's say that someone put like space or something, right? It'll just trim that. So it's going to make sure that, okay, I want to take that information, I also want to trim that. Okay?
So it's supposed to be TRI because you put.
Did I put you?
Yeah.
That's stupid. It's not trom. Wait, it's trim in here. Oh, in my code. Okay. Trump. I almost disgusted myself. Okay, so and trim value is not equal to empty. Okay. So after you trim it, so this takes out all the white space, and after it takes out the white space, as long as there's something there, then you're good. So this login could be sent in, but let's say that the login had just blanks inside of it. That would be counted as, okay, well, login technically does exist, and it has information, it's just blank spaces. This one says, okay, and make sure that when you trim it, that that takes all the white space, that there's still information in there. Okay? So that's what it's doing. Does that make sense, or you guys want me to go over it again? Okay. Is set, we'll see, okay. Did someone put something inside login? Login is coming from, god damn it. Here, name, login, right? So when they submitted, when the information was submitted, you know, does this also have any white space? If there's any white space inside, trim it, and then take it out. So in case there's any, you know, blank spaces or anything like that. Okay, and this is on the login, so they shouldn't be able to send information, but this will prevent SQL injections. Okay, it's going to trim out anything in case they try to put in some other information. This is like more like security features. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is the same stuff, except all the information that I put in, I'm just going to do the exact same thing. So is set for post username and is set post password. And trim. So it's gonna be the same thing as this stuff over here. So I'm doing the exact same thing. So as soon as they hit login, this is gonna check login, and now this is checking the two other values that I passed in. Doing the exact same thing. So actually, I'm gonna get rid of this stuff. I thought I was gonna use it, but I'm not gonna use it. So you guys understand what's happening here? Exact same thing. Anyone still confused about that? You guys want me to go over it again, or? Okay. So is set just checks to see if there's information inside of this associative array for username. So is there a value inside of this? If there is, great. Then move on. But you also have to make sure that there's information inside password. Okay, cool. And is there information after I've removed all the white space from username and from password? If all these check out, now you can move on to the next phase. Now you can move on to the next part. No? Okay. Don't be speciesist. Okay. So we check this code by going back to auctions, doing a refresh, making sure that nothing messed up. Still being able to see our login page.
Yours is always like a space or something.
Oh, there you go. laughing at her? You're gonna make that same mistake.
That's encouraging.
Laughter for encouragement. You're a bully.
I'm really not.
Yeah.
I'm a nice person.
After you explain how aggressive you are.
Only with my brother.
Oh, okay. My sister has a black belt.
Well,
You do?
I quit like right before it, but yeah.
In what?
Karate.
Ah, yeah. She has the same thing. It's so useless,
Black belt
though.
Or whatever. Yeah, who the fuck is gonna do that?
No one's gonna do that. If you want your aggression out, you should take like Krav and Muay Thai and like MMA. It's a lot of fun.
Boxing, but it's expensive.
Yeah, you can get really expensive. The boxing's not that useful. Like you can't do like a closed fist and like a real fight. Like you'll break your arm. You break your fist. So like you're actually supposed to use like your palm, like with like street fights.
Oh really?
Hmm. And you're supposed to do some really dirty stuff, like flick the eye, like go for the throat. You know, there's a lot of moves that are just meant to hit someone in the balls.
I feel like that's every girl's natural reflex, though.
Yeah, but there's like certain ways to do it, right? Like you don't want to get too close. You actually want to step back and then like throw like a fake, and then immediately like swing. Swing. They mostly just teach you how to hit someone in the balls over and over,
Yeah.
or knee someone in the balls. All right. So is everyone else good? Yeah. I need feedback from people. All right.
His pace is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys want me to go faster then?
Crazy. No, it was crazy.
You sure?
Pretty positive.
Last week was a stressful week for the whole country.
Facts.
I was so angry that I got angry at my students, and we almost got in a fight. And everyone's like so angry in
What
the
did
class.
you say?
I was like, all right, I'm not bullying with this bullshit right now, or something like, because my student was giving me sass, and I was like, he's like also like like a very strong willed, and I was just like, and then I like realized like I was being like an idiot, and I was like, oh wait, okay, all right. And then he's like, yeah, I'm being stupid too, or whatever. I think some things just like heat people up like that. I didn't go riot though. Might have. Okay, so our next step is what we're going to do is we're going to save our information into username and password. So we have this escape quotes that I made. And what that does is it takes out any kind of quote. So this is meant for preventing hackers from trying to do any SQL injections into your application. So if they try to put some information in there, they'll escape that. It's not the most robust, so it might not protect you against like, crazy attacks, but it should protect you enough. Or at least it adds some layer of protection. But essentially all we're doing is saving our username and password into variables, right? Does not make sense for anybody? All right. Give me a quiz next week. Should I make a quiz? No?
So escape quotes is what again?
Escape quotes just takes out the quotes from
That's a method.
any information. So it basically like takes out any bad information. So if you look at the function I made, what it does is it uses this function called oh shit, actually this would have not worked. So go back to the escape quotes and change the con to connect.
They should all be connect, right?
Yeah, they should all be connect, correct.
Wait, where is it?
On your functions. Right there. See what says con? To
Okay.
escape.
And then I'm using this method called real escape string, right? So if we take a look at real escape string, escapes special characters in a string for use in a SQL statement, taking into account the current car set of the connection. So it basically prevents, it's used to create a legal SQL string, but it's also meant to increase security. So I'm using that and I'm simplifying it. So normally you'd have to do all of this, but then I just have a function that says, okay, just pass in whatever query you have, and it should take care of that. Actually, this doesn't seem right. Hold on, because this is for a query. But I think it's still correct. Give me a second. Sorry, I think there's an error. Because this is just security for queries, and it should be security for everything. So if I go to functions, no, that's right. String, escape string. Yeah, so this prevents SQL injection. Got it. Okay, yeah, so it does prevent SQL injection. Cool. So it is correct. Sorry, I thought for some reason I might have been using the wrong one, but that seems to be the right one. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our login.php, and what we're going to do is we're going to get all info. So we're going to pass in a query into here. We're going to do select all from users. We're going to do where username equals username. So this will give us back our user, right? Any confusion there? Cool beans. All right. So next, what we're actually going to do is get the first instance of the user and store it into an array. So this will give us back all of the users, right? We only want the first user. Now we could have done that inside of here, but I don't want to do that in a SQL query. I want to use PHP for that. So I'm going to do user array equals, and let's see. And again, once we get back this information, this result, we can have these different methods that we can use on it. So we're doing fetch associative. So give me the user as an associative array. And again, we've done this before, right? So we're just doing that, and we're saving that into user array. And we're just using this in a different way. So we're using if count. So count, and then we say, let's see, user array. So count can be considered the same as array.length. So you pass count. The count instead of a property, it's a method, and you just pass this method or a function, and you pass this function an array, and it'll tell you what the length of this array is. So if the array length is less than or equal to 0, then what we're going to do is we're going to kill this. We're going to kill this instance, and we're going to put, okay, that username doesn't exist, and then try making a username today by going to, and then you can put in actual HTML. So let's just go back to login.php for now. Right now we're just going back to the login page, but we're also going to create up a sign in page as well. So let's see, else. No, I'm not going to do else. I'm just going to do another if. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure this all works. Let's see. Yep, refresh my page. It's not messing anything up. Is everyone good? All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to check the password to make sure that it matches. So we're going to say if user array, and then we should have password, yeah. And this is going to be lowercase. I know it's uppercase in the image that I have. If it doesn't equal the password that we got from the user, then we're going to say die incorrect password. I'm just going to copy this. So what this is doing over here is it's checking the result that it got from this user array, and it's saying, okay, did the password the user put in match the password that I get? And if it doesn't match it, then it's going to say, sorry, incorrect password. We can't do that. So now we're doing some cool stuff. We're actually doing like password matching. All right. Anyone stuck or confused? No right to complain if you guys complain later and say all stuck and confused. Okay, moving on. And again, we're going to refresh to make sure that we didn't mess everything up. And I'm also going to do, let's see, an else statement at the very end of this. So I have this point, and what I'm going to do is say else. And that's going to be, please enter a username and password if they didn't enter anything in. So let's see. Oh, I messed something up. Here we go. Okay, so now I'm going to check against it. Let's see if it works. So I have Jessica123, Jessica123, Jessica123. Let's see what happens. Cool. I don't get an error, so that seems like it worked. Let's see what happens when I put in, butts or button butt. I get that username doesn't exist. Try making a username today by going to the sign up page. Like that. What if I type in Jessica123 and I type in butts? Incorrect password. Please type the password again at the sign up page. Pretty cool, right? You guys getting the same things?
Wait, so if you enter it and it exists, does it go to another page?
Right now it doesn't do anything. It just stays on the same page.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you guys a minute to test that out.
Can I see your form?
Let's move tonight. All right. Oh, this is stupid. You guys already did the login page with me, so that'll be the challenge.
So we could use the time to do last week's.
You are such the manipulator, aren't you?
You know I try.
Doesn't work with me. I have 3 little sisters. Login page. Okay, so the homework is going to be easy this time. It's just going to be adding a login page to your guys' applications. Okay, so I want you guys to add a login page. Next week we're going to create a register. I think we're doing a sign up page, so you can actually sign up a user. If you guys want to do that ahead of time, I think you guys know how to do that by now, right? So you do an insert, but we're going to add some security to it as well. So it's going to be really cool. We're going to do encryption, decryption, all that stuff. So the passwords are not going to be saved like Sony's passwords are, which is unencrypted. We're actually going to encrypt the information so that if someone had information from our database, they wouldn't know what to do with it. They wouldn't have the ability to decrypt the passwords. All right. So this week, do the login stuff. If you guys didn't finish the homework for today, try and do that now. And I'll be here to help you guys out. If you guys want to do React stuff, I've been trying to look through tutorials to determine like which one's the best one. Just learn React.js. It does a good job of explaining how to use React, but not really what React is and how it can help. I would suggest going through the Lynda tutorial first. The Lynda tutorial will help you guys understand what React is, how it can make your applications faster, in terms of why to use React, and it can also help you like build the application. This one is a step-by-step like how to use React, and it doesn't do a very good job like of explaining the benefits of it, but it does a really good job of explaining all the little parts of it. So I think using them in tandem would be really good. I've been also researching a lot of different tutorials, and these ones seem to be the best ones so far. So if you guys are still interested in that, go ahead. I'll be working on the React stuff. Any questions? We're good?
With just one column to make it the same as another one.
Yeah. I think for the homework it was 2. I thought I read something about 2.
So the challenge is change the name of any 2 rows to have the same, okay, and then display. Oh, and then display only the rows that have the name changed. So all the other ones need to go away. So we have to like delete or destroy them, and then create 4 different queries to recreate, update, and destroy. That's what I don't get.
What is the
Hitting go over destroy. Maybe we can figure it out.
So pace was a little better this time, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move tonight.
stuff that